All right, guys. Hey, good morning. Jennifer here, and I am here talking with Eugene Hayden. We are going to be talking about all things data this morning. So let's give a big welcome to Eugene. How are you doing?
Hey everyone, hey Jennifer. I'm so glad to join and thank you so much for inviting me. And good morning, everyone. Yes, we will be talking about data, how to use data, how to maximize your chances to get a perfect job. And yeah, I'll share my story and yeah, let's talk.
Yeah, let's do it. I guess if you'll just start off, let's tell the audience a little bit about you, your background, where you come from, your personal and professional history. What makes Eugene Eugene?
Oh yeah, wow. It's a crazy question. I remember this question from my interviews with Google and other companies. Every time it's tricky to tell because so many things are happening in my life. You see Canadian flag behind my back, so for me, self-identification was a big challenge and issue. So I wasn't born in Canada, but I decided to become Canadian, and yeah, it's worth it. So for my personal story, it was a moment of truth when I decided to change my citizenship. I was born in Eastern Europe. I spent my life working in different locations. My professional life started with BCG in Germany, yeah, with beautiful office in Düsseldorf, and then I moved to um, Moscow, Russia. I spent 2 years working in the office there, and then moved to London, UK, and then from London, UK, joined Google. So it was crazy. So at Google, I traveled to 16 different offices, and I can tell you more which one is the best. And now I landed in Canada in 2017, and I pretty enjoy my life and what I'm doing. And you probably know me because of recent activity. Starting from April this year, I started helping people within my network, and then just expanded. I'm trying to help people with resume reviews to maximize their chances, to optimize everything for ATS, and supply perfect candidates for amazing companies. So this is what I'm doing.
That's amazing, amazing. And so you said you've been to 16 different Google offices. That's really,
Yeah,
I would be curious to hear which one is your favorite since you've been around so much.
I can't tell which one is the best. I can give you top three that I really love. So I think number one is LA in Santa Monica. So this is amazing office. It's 100 meters from the office, and there is a Santa Monica beach. So it's Venice Beach, and it's amazing. You can grab your surfboard and go surfing anytime. And food is amazing, and office design is absolutely stunning. Maybe number two, again, California. I really love YouTube headquarter in San Bruno.
Okay.
This is amazing. I still remember they cook vegan burgers, so you can grab some during the lunch. And maybe number three, it's London, UK. Amazing office, especially the new one. It's a headquarter for artificial intelligence, machine learning, and everything related to it. So I love it.
Amazing, amazing. And which one were you based in? Which office were you actually working out of when you did work at Google?
Yeah, I was between two, oh God, I think three major offices. One in Dublin, the second one in Zurich, and the last one was in Moscow because it was a huge business for LCS team, and we were acquiring new clients. So it was fast-growing market, and I was there.
Wow, so very global. I had no idea you had been around to so many places. Well, we're very lucky, guys. Eugene is very worldly, and he can help us with resumes and CVs. I'm a little bit more in tune to resumes, so that's exciting to provide a little bit more insight because I know CVs are a little different. But how did you get your start? Like your love for tech? Did it start in any particular place? Have you always just been, into data and numbers and
Yeah, I started as management consultant, so it's tricky because at the beginning of my career, I was doing what we can call now like a boring stuff. It was related to data, but it was still boring. And I was working with metals and mining team and extracted data from different, I don't know, open pit mines or underground mines to supply this data to consultant teams to solve their analytical issues and challenges. later on, I joined to KPMG, and I was a senior consultant as within oil and gas companies. So you see, it's not related to tech at all. But then it was the moment of truth when I decided, well, everything is good. I love consulting, but I need to move forward. So probably I need to grab, I don't know, all my achievements in one, I don't know, resume and reapply, and I applied for a role with Google. And I didn't know that I can succeed. I didn't even know that it's possible. But thanks to recruiters, by the way, recruiter came back to me saying, hey, the role you applied for is taken. Would you like to apply for another role? I honestly thought somebody was pranking, and I didn't know that it's true. But the person took initiative and showed my resume to Googlers, and the team was looking for a person for 8 months, I guess. And they invited me for 4 interviews. And this is how I started my tech career. I started learning about Google from the inside, let's say, about all these products, about all these amazing people. And I really love this. I still love it. So I'm so glad that we have this conversation today. I think we will talk more about Google.
Yeah, definitely. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. But I guess if you want to talk about what you do now, your role, and then maybe a little bit about your side hustle, Prometheus, and what you do there, and how we can introduce job seekers to that, because I think it's just such a valuable resource for them.
Yeah, as for my current role, I'm working full time, and I'm also a full time student, and I do all these side projects. It's a crazy moment of my life. As for my professional life, I'm working as a manager in data analytics for Canadian Cancer Society. So I decided to dedicate myself for nonprofit companies, my first nonprofit experience. And I was absolutely amazed by the team. So the team is incredible, so really professional, and we do meaningful work. We use data to treat cancer and save people, and we also support people to organize all these events for them and families. So, and I think I'm happy about my work right now, and it's amazing. And the second thing is, you mentioned that Prometheus Labs, it's one of my projects that I started to use data and build a way of hiring database. And 60 different volunteers were involved into this project. So I just want to say kudos to all these people and appreciate their work. And we built this way of hiring database that went viral, and I think more than 500,000 people use this database. So yeah, there are more products that we produced and personally I did, and I will be happy to share more about them and what can you use to maximize your chances.
Yeah. And so how exactly did that start? Are you doing the resume reviews like on your own, or is that through Prometheus sort of?
No, it's my personal project. So it started really funny. And I was thinking about what exactly I can do as a person to impact positively all people from my network. So I figured out that the biggest challenge and problem that many people are trying to solve is to understand, is this resume that I have, is it good enough for ATS? Is it good enough for recruiters' eyes? So just using and utilizing my experience from I don't know, I built many resumes during my life, and I just wanted to help these people and impact them positively. So I suggested, well, let's do resume reviews. Why not? And I was absolutely astonished by the number of people who wanted to join the first resume marathon. We had 587 applications, so it was incredible. And I spent 2 weeks. I just canceled all my activities for weekends and evenings and tried to fit this amount of time into my day-to-day job and study. And yeah, so it was crazy. But originally the idea, I think it came from, I mean, at the beginning of this year, I noticed one Googler, Andrew Echevarria, he posted. He had at that moment he had 10,000 followers, and he posted something like, "Hey, I will review your resume for free." And I figure out, well, this guy is crazy, because if 10,000 people will react that we want to, I don't know, to send our resumes for reviews, you will receive many applications. But I think he has a really high level of Googliness. This is why he helped all those people. And this idea came to my mind, well, why not to start the same wave? Maybe we can help people together and many other people will join us. And this is how we can increase chances of applicants. And this is how we can have personal impact on every person.
Right. And I know you are putting them through like a sort of different ATS and then also like reading it through yourself. So it's getting like a double kind of skim, and then you're giving people scores accordingly, correct?
Yeah, this is correct. So I'm using multiple tools, and the thing is, you can actually find many of them on the web, but the key factor is I use still my eyes and my knowledge about how people perceive information, what they exactly want to see in resume. The first marathon was about basically, I didn't involve any ATS during the first marathon. I didn't give any scores, and it was like pure resume review. I spent maybe 5 minutes per each resume. And I reviewed all of them and provided feedback. Initially, it was video feedback, but then I figured out, well, it's really time consuming, and I will end like maybe in 3 weeks reviewing all this resume, and people are waiting for me and my reply. And I started doing like, I don't know, I segmented all these resumes by factor, like 1 page, 2 pages, and started recommending things that are relevant for each category. And yeah, for the second round, for the second marathon that I'm doing right now, it's more related to data. And I use ATS, I use word cloud, I use semantic analysis and everything. So I hope those who applied and send me your resumes, you'll be happy to see the results.
Yeah, that's awesome. Is these ATS systems you use, is this something that's accessible to anyone that they could potentially run their resume through if they'd like to? Or is this like a software or something you pay for?
Not really. It's expensive subscription that I'm using. So I understand that people can't afford for single resume check to use this system. So for me, so I just paid a lot to have this access. And the thing is, since I have this access, I can check multiple resumes, and this is what I'm doing. So this is aligned with my strategy to help people, and this is a good utilization of software that can analyze. Yeah, if you're interested in all those things, I will keep posting and share my experience using different cloud of words or semantics or ATS system. Just follow my content. I will be happy to share more details.
Yeah, of course. I love that. And for those of you just joining, or for those of you who didn't catch that, like Eugene has been reviewing like hundreds of resumes. This second batch that he's doing, this second resume review marathon has, I think I saw on your post, like 700 something, 780.
Oh yeah, this time we had more resumes, so it's maybe 34% more than before. It's more than almost 800 actually. Yeah, I'm so amazed because it shows me that people trust my opinion and they want to get the score and my recommendations how to improve it. So I'm so happy that you sent me all these resumes. And yeah, it will take some time, but this is the meaning of this marathon. So I dedicate myself, my experience, and my time to help you guys.
And that's amazing. I honestly, I applaud you. It's the first thing, one of the first things I saw you post on LinkedIn was about the first marathon. And it was what made me want to follow you on LinkedIn and what originally connected me to you, because I was just like, what a great guy, like just taking all this time. So I think it's absolutely incredible. Looking forward to the third one, guys, if you're lucky enough to get on later.
Stay tuned, stay tuned. And as for marathon metaphor, for me personally, during my personal, I have personal hobbies, by the way. I like running, so I'm a marathon runner. So probably this mentality came from this side. So I think in 2016 alone, I finished 5 marathons and 21 half marathons. So it was crazy year. I was at Google. I was traveling to different locations, and all these 16 offices that I visited, not in all of them, but the majority of them, I just combined working week with amazing weekend when I ran marathon. So I have big box of medals, and it's pretty heavy. I don't know what to do with this. So I have San Francisco Marathon, I have Santa Monica Beach, Hollywood Marathon, many others. Half of Europe, actually.
That's amazing. It just speaks to like your perseverance and your drive. I love that.
Yeah.
So I guess let's touch on, let's talk about the data and the resources, a little bit more about the spreadsheet you've put out for job seekers and how they can use that to their advantage.
Yeah, I'm using Google Data Studio, and I use Data Studio to accumulate information from different sources, mostly public sources. I mean, and we scrape public data to organize this spreadsheet at the beginning. And spreadsheet was around maybe 1,000, 2,000 records at the beginning. And it went viral because people didn't expect to see hiring managers, because the idea behind it, we have recruiters. Recruiters are amazing, but there are so many candidates who are applying for roles, and they are bombarding recruiters with messages, and recruiters can't simply answer all these messages, even if they want to. And the idea behind it is just to create a system that we can utilize. For example, we can broad network of hiring managers who are hiring, let's say, manager, directors, and above. They're looking for candidates constantly, and some of them are saying we are hiring. And you can use this tag on LinkedIn or on the web to identify people who are open to discuss opportunities. And once you build this relationship with these people, you can ask for a referral, and referral will help you to get what you want. And, probably, I don't know, real numbers, I have no idea, but I heard that 80% of the market is hidden. It's like we see only tip of the iceberg, and 80% of roles around it are hidden. It's just because hiring managers they're hiring, they have this idea who exactly is an ideal candidate. They don't even advertise the role. They're trying to utilize network first, and if they fail, only then it goes online. So just think about it. Utilize this list of connections. So now it grew from 2,000 records to 12,000 records. It's called We're Hiring Database, and you can find this database on my website, which is eugenehayden.com. So yeah, just let me know what you think about it, and if you have any questions, just let me know too.
Yeah, it sounds like an amazing resource. I've clicked into it myself. So to me, it kind of sounds like you're almost cutting out the middleman then, kind of taking the recruiter out of the equation, and this kind of allows job seekers to go directly to a potential hiring manager who's potentially interested to sort of network more directly, which I think is really...
Actually, not really. I don't cut
exactly. Okay.
The thing is, recruiters are still in the system, and actually, recruiters play incredible role and amazing role in this system, because hiring managers, they're still focused on the work. They don't have the capacity, time, or maybe expertise to do what recruiters do. So the thing is, through referrals, we can highlight relevant candidates and help all parties. So this is win-win situation for everybody. Hiring manager can find the person who is ideal for this role, refer this to recruiter, that will save time for recruiter and energy and everything. So it looks like a backdoor for applications, and recruiters will be happy because they can start working with relevant candidate that is good for this specific manager because they had a chat or conversation, etc. And yeah, just minimize the noise, reduce risks, and etc. So recruiters, they play a crucial role, and I don't want to underestimate their role in the system. And I'm pretty sure the system, my We Are Hiring database that we built with Prometheus Labs, it doesn't harm to anyone. So it's pretty good organic thing that can be used by hiring managers, recruiters, and candidates.
Yeah, and I think you touched on this a little bit earlier, but I'd be curious to hear a little bit more about how you went about compiling the database and sort of like creating this resource.
Yeah, creating this resource is a mystery. I don't share algorithms that I use, but I can tell you that I have, let's say, ethical hacker mentality. So I see breaches that I can use, and I don't touch any private information. So I use public data. I can scrape data from Google and LinkedIn. So I mean, of course, Google and LinkedIn, they apply certain let's say constraints, how much you can scrape in one session, etc. So this is probably why I needed 60 people to build the database, because it's crazy. But actually, we automated many processes, so we don't need to use 60 people anymore. So one person can do this now. So yeah, I mean, I'm scraping data. I do it ethically. I respect privacy and everything. I don't touch anything that is not allowed or which is not illegal. And so yeah, I built this using algorithms. If you're interested, I use Python, and I also use several good examples of software that can scrape data from the web, so from pages. Yeah, and yeah, this is how it was built.
Okay. Well, yeah, I can see how that would take a lot of people to gather all that data. So it's great that you have that sort of team to back you up. And so I guess let's talk a little bit more about resumes and data specifically in regards to resumes. So when you're editing these resumes and from your, sort of data analytic perspective, what kind of data do you think is most valuable for job seekers to be using on their resume and to include?
I think the most number one and important factor is just to be relevant. So many applicants, they don't have opportunity to have interviews because for some reason the information from their resumes is not relevant for this specific role. Just to make sure that you check word cloud, semantics, and I don't know, ATS score, and just to make sure that you can tell a good story using your resume and it's relevant for this role. If it's not relevant, recruiters, you can tell me more about your experience. Basically, if it's not relevant, you just skip resume. You don't, I don't know, spend time figuring out, well, only if this is a really good candidate, you can figure out, let's say, there is another role, I can offer you another role. But in 99% of cases, recruiters can't go beyond this, because if you apply for this role and it's not 100% match or perfect fit, you just move forward, because there are so many candidates. Market is so saturated. And being relevant, and nowadays it means deal with computers, actually, because all this initial processing, screening, etc., it goes through ATS. Many companies, Google, including Google, companies still investing time into manual review, and many recruiters, it's likely to happen that they will see your resume for at least 20 seconds to figure out who you are, what you do, etc. But the majority of other companies, they don't really have capacity to review all these resumes. So they have settings in ATS that can filter out, using different parameters, all these irrelevant resumes. So I'm helping people to be relevant. So just to avoid typical mistakes, use proper format, and tell your story using bullet points. So this, let's say, ATS score and all this information that I can extract from different software products, it helps to optimize resume to be more relevant, to get more chances to get into your dream company. So this is what I'm doing and how I use my data.
Yeah, no, that's great. And how do you, for someone, because I do have some followers, I think, who aren't as familiar with ATS systems. So what would you say, like wording wise, or how can they make their resume stand out to the ATS system in your opinion?
Yeah, in my opinion, there are several factors. First of all, it's keywords. It's simple idea. You have different keywords in your resume. You have different keywords in job application. They should match at least, I don't know, 70-80% or whatever. And if there is a match, if you use similar keywords or keywords that are required by the system, you have better chance to be relevant. Another component is semantics and, let's say, even grammar or structure or something related to your resume, how you describe your experience, how you use active verbs, how you structure everything. So it's also evaluated by the system, and it gives another score. And the last thing is about format. So you can tell the same story in many different ways. So your story may be perfect, but it will never be heard because the format wasn't, I don't know, wasn't good enough for application. For example, there are ATS-ready resumes that are structured properly for ATS engines. And some people, they use images or tables. Don't use these things. ATS doesn't like it, and it will give you lower score. It's not about discrimination. For example, if I use my avatar on resume, I will be discriminated. No, it's just this information is not relevant for ATS, so ATS will likely to skip this information. And tables, yeah, I think some engines, several engines, they have issues reading tables. Some people create resumes using LaTeX. Don't do this. Just use regular Word. I don't know, extract everything into PDF. Make it simple. Make it actionable and impactful. And ATS will filter out your resume and show it to recruiter, and recruiter will be happy to read this beautiful structured resume. And yeah, everybody will win from this situation. You can be creative, but don't take too much risk. Just do what works perfectly, and I will happy to be useful and share my thoughts how to do it.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I always tell job seekers to keep it simple, not only for ATS, but just for clarity and just ease of reading, and just because it's a lot of unnecessary, hoopla. We don't need all that on a resume. Keep it impactful. I love that. Love what you said. So how can we, in your opinion, better empower people who may not feel as comfortable with data? I know, like, math was never my strong suit. I do what I can, right? But what would be some of your tips for ways we can, better use data in our resumes, or maybe gather it from your work experience?
Yeah, this is an amazing question. Thanks. And the thing is, I remember my training at Google, and I don't know exactly, is it still practicing, or are they still practicing this or not? There is a training, it's called, and it gives a report, it's called Discovery. And Discovery, it classifies people by different categories, like MBTI test, and there are 4 colors. Blue color is for data-driven people, analytical minds, or something like this. Red is for leaders and let's say people who want to act and do something amazing. Yellow is for social people who want to socialize, and green is for helpers who are helping people, and etc. So for each category, you need to apply a different approach. Just imagine that you are one of these categories. For example, it's easy to say that I'm blue because because I'm using data and I analyze data all the time. And if you want to convince me, just use more numbers and show me quantifiable results in your resume and percentages and absolute values, etc. If you want to convince another person from another category, you have to use different approach. So with the resume is the same. So if you want, basically it's more data driven, and let's say blue and red more represented here, because in resume we want to see achievements, which is leadership and management activities. And we want to see numbers because it's really hard to quantify your impact without numbers. So just focus on these 2 categories, because it's likely that hiring manager or recruiter, recruiter probably maybe green or yellow because it's a social person who wants to help. This is why people are working as recruiters. But for manager, it's probably blue or red category. That means they want to see your achievements and results. Just help them to see this in your resume. And this is how you can use this kind of piece of psychology and attach your piece of psychology and apply it to your resume to help people find relevant information about your experiences. So yes, I mean, this training helped me out to figure out how to communicate with different people and with different mindset. And I'm just sharing with you, you can apply this for your resume application. Just assume that people want to see numbers and achievements more than anything else. And during interviews, you can be yellow or green, be social, be happy, be flexible, and etc. Just show the whole spectrum of your colors, and I hope it will help you to achieve your goal.
Yeah, no, that's great. I love that. Tailor your resume to the specific job, and if you know the people, try to tailor your your resume even further, or use your different styles in the interview. So love that last bit. Before we sign off, Eugene, anything else you'd like to add for the job seekers out there before we go? Any last tips or tricks or resources?
Yeah, I want to say to everyone who is applying right now, who is struggling, and it's a challenging time for everybody, guys and girls. And the thing is, you're not alone. So there are many helpers. There are many people that we do this for free. We want to maximize your chances. The key idea here is everyone wants to have a meaningful, actionable, let's say, active network. We want to help you because I personally, I believe that something that I couldn't achieve in my life due to my failures or mistakes, you can do. And I want to share my knowledge and experience to help you out and achieve your goals and dreams. And I'm pretty sure there are many other people I want to mention. For example, Austin Belsak, he created this amazing Cultivated Culture project, and he is working for Microsoft. He is an amazing helper, and I really like reading his materials. Maya Grossman, she published recently her amazing book. It's called Invaluable. Just find it, buy it on Amazon, read it. It's an amazing story. She's also a Googler, and she's an amazing person. Just highly recommend it. One Salting Project, you know about this. Jerry and Jonathan are amazing people. Just follow people who will make you better as a professional, as a person, and learn from them. 2 years ago, I didn't have this opportunity. I was so frustrated on the market. So even after Google, I failed to find my dream job, but I didn't fail as a person. I learned many lessons. I want to share with you and give you what I didn't have. This is what I want to say, you guys and girls. And just be positive. You're not alone. Failure, it's temporary. Just overcome this obstacle and enjoy your future dream job, and just be focused and walk forward all the time.
I love that. So much positivity. Well, thank you so much for being here. Guys, check out Eugene's LinkedIn page. Check out his link to Prometheus Labs. Check out all those amazing resources he spoke of. You can't find them, feel free to message me. I can send you the link to where they're at. But he spent all this time, and all these people helped compile these amazing resources. So take advantage. And thanks so much for being here, Eugene. This was so great.
Yeah, thank you, Jennifer. I'm so happy to be here. And thank you, everyone who joined this call. And yeah, let's stay in touch and be friends and enjoy this life. Cheers.
Have a great Tuesday, guys. Bye.
Yeah, cheers.